because it's Black History Month, and as you can see me right now, I'm a melatonin, yeah, melatonin man. You know, I got melon. I can't. I'm too tired, bro. I can't remember what the fuck this shit's called. Is it melatonin? No. I love my Black brothers and sisters, and we're gonna see what people back then had to deal with the racism and all of that, bro. Seems like it got a little better nowadays, but we still experiencing some racism now and again in America. So I'm just hoping we can all be united, be together, and just help one another out. But for right now, we get to watch on how the Black soldiers humiliated the KKK. Hell yeah! So sit back, relax, grab some snacks. If anything, I got my blanket right here, so I'm chilling. I'm already cozy. I'm chill. We're just gonna watch some videos. I'm gonna give my thoughts. Obviously, I'm gonna pause. Obviously, because why the fuck would I not pause and tell you my thoughts? And yeah, without further ado, man, let's get into this video and see how these guys humiliate them.
50 cars filled with Ku Klux Klan members
Are we-
rolled North Carolina, led by the town's own police chief. Their target, a brick house where Marine Corps veteran Robert F. Williams and a group of Black World War II soldiers waited. The Klan had terrorized.
Wait, World War II. What year was this again? Because if they are World War II vets, why the fuck are we going after them? Like they literally just fought. Like, come on, bro. They just served our country, and you're over here trying to attack them. That ain't cool, man. Not at all. That's super stupid.
This neighborhood for months, but tonight, black men would shoot back.
Indeed.
Monroe, North
Good shit, my
Carolina,
boys.
sat 30 miles
I gotta hear about
southeast of
this.
Charlotte, a small textile town of 12,000 people where cotton mills provided jobs and Jim Crow provided the rules. The railroad
the Jim Crow law,
tracks divided white from black, prosperity from poverty, safety from terror. On one side lived the people.
It's also crazy to think about that segregation, like black bathrooms and black water fountains and shit like that was like it wasn't that long ago. like if we really think about it, like compared to like how long the Earth is, and not even compared to how long the Earth is, just like just how quick everything is. You like look how many years ago. Fuck, he gave me ads. I didn't give you ads. First off, second off, that's not how that works. I don't give you ads. I mean, I can turn them on, I guess, but like, I don't give them. I don't be like, hey, bro, you right here, take this ad. Like, I'm not pointing y'all individually. I'm cheap anyway. Yeah, we fucking know.
Who ran the town. On the other lived the people who kept it running, cooking in white kitchens, cleaning white homes, working white-owned factories for a fraction of white wages. Robert Franklin Williams arrived back in Monroe in 1955, though calling it an arrival suggests he'd been welcomed somewhere else. Born in this town on February 26, 1925, he'd grown up hearing stories from his grandmother, a former slave who'd given him his grandfather's rifle and told him what it meant to survive in a place that wanted you dead. His grandfather had been a Republican organizer during Reconstruction, publishing a newspaper called The People's Voice, until white violence made him choose between his voice and his life. He chose life, but kept the rifle. Williams knew Monroe's particular brand of hatred intimately. When he was 11 years old, he'd watched police officer Jesse Helms Sr., father of the future senator, drag a black woman bleeding through the streets by her hair after administering what the officer called an arrest. The woman's screams echoed in Williams' head for years.
So what I hear is, back then, they was crazy, man. Like, people are crazy now, but Lord, people back then, there was no security cameras, there was no nothing. They was so, I didn't even know they was like doing crazy shit, especially the black people all together, which is kind of sad, bro. It's kind of sad to like think about like all the people who like we didn't get to like see, like especially like because their names that wasn't in the news or anything like that. We'll never know.
The sight of that badge glinting in the sun, while white onlookers smiled and nodded, taught young Robert a lesson that no school would ever address. The law in Monroe wasn't there to protect him. It was there to remind him of his place. He'd tried to escape that place. During World War II, Williams migrated north like hundreds of thousands of other black Southerners, finding work in Detroit's auto factories. He was there in 1943 when white mobs stormed through black neighborhoods, killing dozens.
Detroit?
He fought back then, young and angry, learning that Northern freedom was just Southern oppression with better lighting. In 1944, he was drafted into the...
That is actually true. There was still racism in the North. I'm pretty sure. I'm not 100% sure, but I've heard that there was still racism in the North. Doesn't mean it was a safe place.
Army, serving until 1946. Then he joined the
Marines. Obviously, if I'm saying anything like wrong, out of line, please tell me in the comments, or tell me right now if you're in Twitch chat, because yeah. We are all here to learn, isn't that right? We're all here to hear about this man's story on how he protected himself and won. Literally, that's all we're here for. Okay.
1954 to 1955, where he learned discipline, marksmanship, and the bitter irony of defending a country that wouldn't defend him. When he returned to Monroe in 1955, he found the local National Association for the Advancement of Colored People chapter gasping its last breath. 6 members remained from what had once been a thriving organization. The others had been fired from jobs, threatened, beaten, driven out. Southern states were systematically destroying the NAACP, branding it communist, outlawing it where they could. In Monroe, simply attending a meeting.
Classic racism. They're getting together. They're gonna plot to overthrow the government. Fucking tinfoil hats. Fucking A, bro. Bullshit ass racist.
Could cost you everything. Williams started recruiting, not from the middle-class teachers and preachers who typically led NAACP chapters. He went to the factories, the farms, the unemployed men standing on corners. Most importantly, he went to the veterans, men who'd seen combat, who'd been trained to fight, who'd tasted just enough equality in uniform to make segregation unbearable when they came home. Men like Dr. Albert Perry. Dr. Albert E. Perry was everything Monroe's white establishment wanted to deny could exist. A black man with a medical degree, a veteran, a practicing physician at the local hospital. He bought a nice brick house, drove a decent car, and had the audacity to act like he deserved respect. Williams made him vice president of the Monroe NAACP. Together, they set about picking fights the previous leadership would never have dared to start. Their first victory came quiet. In 1956, they integrated the public library. White Monroe barely noticed because White Monroe barely used the library, but Williams and Perry noticed. They'd proven that pressure worked, that the system could be moved, so they picked a target that mattered more, the swimming pool. In the summer of 1957, 2 black children drowned in a creek. There was nowhere else for them to swim. Monroe's public pool, built with federal tax dollars that black families paid just like white families, was reserved exclusively for white residents. Black children had to make do with unsupervised creeks, muddy rivers, and the consequences that came.
That is actually so fucking ass. That right there is actually so fucking ass. Oh, okay, let's continue.
2 children went under and didn't come up. Their names were lost to history, but their deaths sparked something that wouldn't be forgotten. Williams went to the...
We don't remember, bro. We don't remember their names? Oh, that's fucked. We don't know the kids' names. That's really fucked. That's all I gotta say.
City Council with a
lost it to history.
Reasonable request. Open the pool to black children 1 day a week. Just 1 day. The council's response was a masterclass in creative racism.
1 day
draining and refilling the pool after black people used it.
The fuck? Like, what are we, contaminated? Like, what?
They explained with straight faces would simply be too expensive. Segregation, they suggested, was an economic necessity. Williams had a different analysis. Standing before...
We're all fucking humans in the end of the day. We all stink. We all smell. We all need a shower. We all need to eat. Like, come on, man. Let's be for real here. Like, what is draining the water after black people get in? What does that do? Let's really think about it. What does that do compared to like anybody else ever? Any human? Nothing.
For the council, he delivered a line that cut through Monroe's polite racism like a blade. Segregation, he said, is a luxury that Monroe cannot afford. He organized picket lines. 8 people at first, standing at the pool gates, silent, peaceful, exactly the kind of protest that Martin Luther King Jr. was preaching across the South.
Right.
And Monroe responded the way Monroe always responded, with violence. Shots rang out at the picket lines. No one was arrested. Law enforcement officers stood by and watched. The message was clear. You can protest all you want, but when the bullets fly, you're on your own. That's when the Ku Klux Klan got involved. The Klan in Monroe wasn't some fringe element hiding in the shadows. In a town of 12,000 people, the press estimated 7,500 Klan members and supporters. More than half the town. They held massive rallies where thousands gathered.
How much? Half the town? 7,500 Klan members. Holy shit. What the fuck?
Supporters. More than half the town. They held massive rallies where thousands gathered in their robes and hoods, listening to speakers promise to keep Monroe pure, to keep the races separate, to handle these uppity agitators who thought they deserved to swim in white water. Leading these rallies was James William Catfish Cole, a South Carolina Klan organizer who'd made Monroe his personal project. Cole was the Klan's regional heavyweight, a man who commanded respect in white supremacist circles, someone who got things done. He held rallies where he specifically named Williams and Perry, calling them communists, troublemakers, threats to the Southern way of life. Then his followers would pile
What's wrong with people, bro? What, like, let's really think about this. What's wrong with people?
Into their cars and form motorcades. Here's where the institutional betrayal became impossible to ignore. Monroe's police chief, A.A. Morney, didn't try to stop these motorcades.
Of course
he led them. Squad cars with flashing lights would...
He led them? This nigga who is a fucking cop who's supposed to protect people is leading something to hurt somebody. You know, it's not... Wait. Sorry. It sounds crazy when you, like, say it out loud, but, bro. And again, this was, like... this is not that long ago, like I just said. This is, like, it's not that long ago if you really think about it. It's really crazy.
Escort 50, sometimes more, Klan vehicles through Monroe's streets. The procession would wind through town, then head across the railroad tracks into Newtown, the black section, and there they'd drive past specific houses, firing guns into windows, throwing bottles, shouting threats, while the police chief made sure they had safe passage. Dr. Perry's house became a favorite target. Night after night, the motorcade would roll past, and gunfire
night
would erupt.
After night. Could you imagine? You're just like trying to live. You're trying to live your life, right? You're just a black. You're just a black. No, you're not even a black man. You're just yourself, right? Let's just imagine you're just yourself, right? Okay, you're just chilling at home, and every freaking night, somebody you don't know who they are just keeps going by your house and keeps shooting up your house. Oh my god, my brain. Like I couldn't even fucking fathom like that thought. I couldn't. But this is what they literally had to go through. This is shit crazy.
His wife, his children, huddling inside while bullets punched through walls. He'd call the police. They'd tell him they couldn't confirm any shooting had occurred, despite the holes in his house and the shell casings in his yard. Then they'd suggest perhaps he'd be safer if he stopped causing trouble. Williams made a decision
what? We're not doing anything
that would define his life and split the civil rights movement. If the law wouldn't protect black people would protect themselves. He applied for a charter from the National Rifle Association. The NRA approved it without hesitation. Williams formed what he called the Black Armed Guard, though officially it was the Monroe chapter of the NRA. 50 to 60 men, most of them veterans like Williams, men who knew how to handle weapons, how to maintain discipline under fire, how to return fire effectively. They trained, they drilled, they bought guns with money raised from supporters, including fundraisers in Harlem, where Malcolm X would later invite Williams to speak at his mosque. They studied tactics, and they prepared Dr. Perry's house like it was a forward operating base. By October 1957, tensions in Monroe had reached a breaking point. The Klan's motorcades continued, increasingly brazen. White Monroe had circulated petitions to have Williams and Perry driven from town. Anonymous death threats arrived daily. Williams' insurance company
like, you niggas, like, I'm telling you, bro. People were so bored back then, they just had to look at somebody and be like, oh, you're black, you're different, I don't like you. Therefore, I'm gonna spend the rest of my days just making your life and your people life hell. Just because I'm bored. There's nothing to do here. I'm already knowing. They was doing that shit because they was fucking bored, nothing to do, bitchless. Fucking, like, come on, bro.
Canceled his coverage, citing the risk. When he asked the police chief why his insurance was cancelled if there was no danger, the chief had no answer. On October 5th, 1957, the Klan decided to make their point permanent. They were going to Dr. Perry's house, and this time they weren't just going to shoot at it. They were going to burn it down with everyone inside. Williams got word through the black community's network. People who worked in white homes, who overheard conversations, who understood that information meant survival. The Klan was coming, in force. Tonight, Williams and his men moved into Perry's house that afternoon. They stacked sandbags along the windows. They positioned men with clear fields of fire. They made sure everyone understood the plan. No one fires first, but when they do fire, we fire back.
Hold on. Bro's cooking. Hold on. We don't fire, but they fire. We fire back, okay? That's what I'm talking about, bro. You need to protect yourself, bro. Fuck them niggas, bro. What is wrong with people? We do not need to... it was never this serious. Well, let me refrain. By the way, I'm talking about all the race people. I'm not talking about any black person. All the black people, I know you just had to do what you had to do to survive. Okay. I just can't get racism. I just really can't.
If possible, make it clear we're serious without giving them martyrs.
Like, I know you're never supposed to.
As the sun set, they waited. Perry's family had been moved.
It just doesn't make sense to be racist. It just doesn't make sense in my fucking head that you would ever be racist. I just don't see it.
To safety. Inside the house were only men who'd made peace with what might happen next. Veterans who'd survived war only to find themselves at war in their own hometown. Men who'd sworn oaths to defend their country and were now defending their community from their neighbors.
Yeah, exactly.
The sound reached them first. Engines. Lots of engines. Then the glow of
probably
headlights.
Hella people.
Dozens of them, winding through Monroe's streets. The motorcade rolled past City Hall, past the courthouse, past the nice white neighborhoods where people watched from their porches like it was a parade. Then it crossed the tracks into Newtown. 50 cars or more, packed with Klan members in full regalia. At the front, Monroe Police Chief Morney's squad car, lights flashing. The motorcade snaked through Newtown streets, and residents who'd seen this before pulled their children inside, turned off their lights, prayed this night wouldn't be the night someone they loved got killed. The procession turned onto Perry's Street. The cars slowed, then stopped, engines idling. Men began to emerge, white robes gleaming in the headlights. Some carried torches, some carried guns. All of them carried the certainty that this was their town, their right, their prerogative to do as they pleased. Then the shooting started. Later, both sides would claim the other fired first. What's certain is that gunfire erupted from the Klan's motorcade, slamming into Perry's house. Bullets shattered windows, punched through the brick, tore through...
The other person shot first, nigga. You stop it. Klan members, you came there for trouble. It was clearly you. Like, let's be for real here. If you coming over there with 50 plus cars and you're saying the other people shot first, you weren't there to talk. Let's really think about it. You 50 something cars, probably with guns and shit. You're not there to talk. You're not. You're really not. Don't be like, oh, the other person shot. Nah, bro. We know it's you. You not slick.
Through the front door. The roar was deafening. dozens of weapons firing at once. Inside the house, Williams gave the order. Fire! The response was disciplined, controlled, exactly what you'd expect from trained soldiers. Muzzle flashes erupted from Perry's windows. The veterans inside had positioned themselves for overlapping fields of fire. They aimed low, at car tires, at legs, at anything that wasn't lethal, but would make their point crystal clear. The clan had never experienced this. In all their years of terrorizing black neighborhoods, shooting into homes, burning crosses, inflicting violence.
When somebody fights back. When bro, it's like those like the fucking bully thing, bro. When the fucking bully like push you around and they notice you won't do anything, they will keep doing it. But then when you finally fucking like start beating their ass, they're gonna like stop messing with you. It's basically like that in a way. But the bully can also just say, nah, fuck it, I want my revenge, and just go back for round two. It's always two sides to it.
Violence with impunity. They'd never faced organized armed resistance.
Bullshit.
The psychological impact was immediate.
Just be mean. Just be nice, bro. You should never just put your hands on anybody. You should never shoot at everybody unless you're protecting yourself. Obviously, if you're protecting yourself, then yes, obviously you should do all those things. Obviously, now, this is America, man. Obviously, everybody has a gun. You should have a gun too to protect yourself.
These weren't victims cowering in the dark.
But obviously, we need stronger laws about guns.
These were soldiers returning fire.
That's a whole entire different conversation, though.
Men in white robes scrambled back to their cars. Engines roared to life. Tires squealed. The entire motorcade broke formation and fled in every direction, some cars running into each other in their desperation to escape. Within minutes, the street was empty except for abandoned robes, dropped torches, and the fading sound of engines racing back across the tracks to the safety of white Monroe. Inside Perry's house, Williams and his men held their positions. No pursuit, no celebration. They maintained their perimeter through the night, knowing retaliation might come.
Exactly. They will always try to retaliate. I should say not always, but like, they will try to retaliate. There are some cases where people will always, you beat their ass, they will try to retaliate.
Didn't. The clan had been routed, humiliated, driven from a black neighborhood by black men with guns. The next morning, Monroe's city council held an emergency session. The same council that had said they couldn't afford to let black children swim. The same council that had turned a blind eye to months of Klan terrorism. They passed an ordinance effective immediately. The Ku Klux Klan was banned from Monroe without a special permit from the police chief. That ordinance was the first crack in Monroe's wall of white supremacy. Not because the council suddenly developed a conscience, but because armed black veterans had demonstrated something white Monroe couldn't afford to ignore. In Williams' own words, racists consider themselves superior beings and are not willing to exchange their superior lives for our inferior ones. They are most vicious and violent when they can practice violence with impunity. The shootout barely made the news. The Monroe Journal mentioned it briefly. 3 black newspapers covered it. The national press ignored it completely.
See what I mean, bro? They take a loss, they don't report it. They get a win or try to like make themselves look better in like a different type of light. That's just everywhere. They had like, bro, it's like social. Like, we're lucky now to have social media because the news can say like whatever, but like we can have like footage of like somebody who was like there, actually there. Because everybody has a phone that everybody can record. Back then, there was no recording. There was none of that. There's none of that, bro. There was always like the news, the radio, and like those 2 things is how you guys share information. The paper, news, from the radio. You know, and shit that they just had control of all that, of all the information they was feeding you. That's why so many people like wanted to like get drafted into the world wars because of how much the news was covering it. So and then it's crazy how people now they don't want to get drafted. They do not want to get drafted, bro. They do not want to fight for this country. It's kind of crazy how America changed like that, you know. I mean, we didn't change, but like we did change. It'd be stupid to say we didn't change, but like we still have bad things that we need to focus on, you know? Especially like the Epstein files. Oh my God. Don't get me started on Epstein files. Oh my God. Don't get me started on Epstein files, bro. What the fuck are they doing? They pissing me off with that shit.
Just 3 months later, when the Lumbee tribe would rout the Klan in a similar confrontation,
we need justice for the
national
victims,
media
bro.
would descend on North Carolina, Life magazine would run photo spreads, politicians would issue statements. But when black men defended themselves with guns, white America decided that story was better left untold.
Right? Like, that's so weird. Like, it makes sense because they want to look good. They want to show out. You know?
Williams understood why, as he'd later write.
Exactly. I understand why, too. Still stupid.
National press played up the Indian Klan fight because they didn't consider this a great threat. The Indians are a tiny minority, and people could laugh at the incident as a sentimental joke. But no one wanted black people to get the impression that this was an accepted way to deal with the Klan.
Right.
So the white press maintained a complete blackout about our fight. But word spread through black communities across the South. Veterans heard what had happened in Monroe. Working people heard. Young activists heard. The message was clear.
Right.
Non-violence was a tactic, not a suicide pact. You could advocate for peace while keeping a rifle behind the door. The October 5th. Shootout didn't end Monroe's racial violence,
right,
but it fundamentally changed its character. The Klan never conducted another motorcade through Newtown. They couldn't.
Good.
They'd been exposed as cowards who only fought when resistance was impossible. When black men shot back, they ran. Less than a month later, the Klan tried a different approach. If they couldn't eliminate the troublemakers by force, they'd eliminate them through the legal system. Dr. Perry was arrested on charges of performing an abortion on a white woman. The accusation was almost certainly false.
Yeah, 100%. 100%. Because what the fuck? You think a black man is going to do that back then? Come on, man. Come on, man. Let's be for real here. Look at your skin color. Look at your skin color. Look at her. We know damn well not to go anywhere near that. We know damn well. Fucking liars, bro. Free my man. I was saying freedom, but is he still alive? I don't know. If anything, I just learned about him, and so far, what I've learned about him, he's badass. Badass. He did everything he had to do to protect himself.
Perry was Catholic, opposed to abortion on religious grounds. The woman herself said she'd asked him to perform the procedure, but that he'd refused. None of that mattered. The newspaper headline screamed.
Her herself said, "Oh, he refused." Bruh. Are we dead ass? I hope I'm not loud. But are we dead ass? Shit's fucking ridiculous, bro.
Doctor arrested for criminal.
Whoa! 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 I was not expecting that. I'm being so serious. I was not expecting that.
Abortion on white woman. The racism was coded into every word.
Exactly.
A black man's hands on a white woman's body, even in a medical context, was treated as inherently criminal. Perry was jailed. Williams led armed demonstrations at the courthouse. Hundreds of black residents openly carrying weapons, demanding Perry's release. A white benefactor posted $7,000 bond. Perry was freed, but the damage was done. His trial came almost exactly a year after his arrest. October 21st, 1958. He was convicted and sentenced to 5 years in prison. Released after serving just over a year, Dr. Albert E. Perry never got his medical license back. He'd lost his profession.
He lost his fucking job off of a fucking false accusation that wasn't even true. We literally have confirmation of her saying, I asked him. He said, I won't do it. And he lost his fucking medical license and never got it again. You see what I mean, bro? Shit is stupid. Like, it's just hard to believe, bro. A nigga got his life ruined off of a fucking false accusation like that. That is like, yeah. That's old America. Well, that's old America. I feel so bad for you, man.
Livelihood, his future, for the crime of standing up to the Klan.
Right.
The system had accomplished through legal proceedings what the Klan couldn't accomplish with
The system
guns.
stays broken throughout the fucking years. Is all I'm fucking learning from this.
Meanwhile, Williams faced his own reckoning with the broader civil rights movement. In late 1958, days after Perry's conviction, a case exploded that would make Williams an international figure. Two black boys, 9-year-old James Hanover Thompson and 7-year-old David Fuzzy Simpson, had been playing with white children. During a kissing game, a 7-year-old white girl named Sissy Sutton kissed both boys on the cheek. When she mentioned it to her mother, White Monroe reacted with hysterical rage. The mother washed her daughter's mouth with lye. Armed men.
We're not contagious. We're not contagious. We're all human beings. What do these people not understand? I don't get it. She just mad because never mind. That's a 7-year-old girl, bro. They were just playing a fucking game. And now a little game is gonna make this shit 10 times worse. I gotta hear what happened.
Hunted for the boys.
They hunted boys, of course they did.
James and David, handcuffed them, took them to jail, and spent.
You arrested kids because a little girl kissed them? So you telling me we can get arrested for a kiss? Show y'all? You know, man. Whoever said like, oh my god, this was the golden age, we're fucking lying, bro. We're fucking lying. Big time. Big time.
6 days interrogating them without allowing them access to parents or lawyers. They were beaten, threatened with lynching, told they'd raped a white girl. Judge Hampton Price heard the case. Such as it was, the boys had no legal representation. They stood silent, terrified. The judge interpreted their silence as a confession. He sentenced both boys to indefinite terms in reform school, possibly until age 21.
What the fuck?
A kiss that a white girl had initiated.
Yeah, no, that's what I just said. Like, well, we getting arrested for a kiss.
He contacted journalists in Europe. He worked with activists in New York to form the Committee to Combat Racial Injustice.
Indeed.
He turned the kissing case into a global embarrassment for the United States.
Please.
With demonstrations in Paris, Rome, and Vienna. Former First Lady Eleanor Roosevelt intervened with North Carolina's governor. President Eisenhower received thousands of letters. After 3 months, on February the 13th, 1959, Governor Luther Hodges pardoned the boys without explanation or apology. They were released. Their lives were destroyed. James Thompson would spend most of his adult life in and out of prison. David Simpson largely disappeared from the record. In 2011 interviews, James's sister Brenda would remember sweeping bullets off their front porch every morning while the Klan burned crosses in their yard. The kissing case made Williams famous, but it also made him a target. Then came the event that would force him into exile. In May 1959, a Monroe court heard the case of Mary Ruth Reed, a 23-year-old black woman who was 8 months pregnant when Louis Medlin, a white man, assaulted her and attempted to rape her. Medlin was charged. The trial was brief. The all-white jury deliberated briefly, not guilty.
Let me guess. Yeah. Duh. Fucking duh, bro.
Williams stood on the courthouse steps as Medlin walked free, and he said something that would end his leadership of the Monroe NAACP.
What'd he say?
Black women approached him, devastated, asking what they were supposed to do now that white men knew they could assault black women with impunity. Williams told them, "We cannot rely on the law. We must defend ourselves. If it takes violence to get justice."
That's true. And okay. Remember I said protect yourself? That goes for women too, bro. Carry a gun, a stun grenade, no, a taser. That's what that's called. Carry a gun, a taser, a knife, any weapon, bro. Pepper spray, anything, bro. Anything, man. Actually, not even pepper spray, bro. If you carry pepper spray, you need another weapon with that. Because some people are like immune, like you can get like immune to that, and I'd be damned if like you pepper spray somebody and they just don't feel it because they just said, "Hey, just so I can just say fuck it, let me get immune to pepper spray." You get a gun and a knife, pepper spray, taser. The two things you probably low-key need to protect yourself.
Then we must meet
There's probably
violence
more
with
shit,
violence.
but like I can't
The
think
next
of it.
day, National NAACP head Roy Wilkins called.
Okay.
Williams confirmed he'd made the statement and would repeat it. Within hours, Wilkins suspended Williams from the NAACP for 6 months. The organization Williams had rebuilt from 6 members to hundreds, the chapter that had achieved what no other Southern NAACP
six members to hundreds. Oh yeah, bro, bro locked the fuck in. Bro said, "Oh yeah, we getting this shit up."
Chapter had dared attempt was now too militant, too aggressive, too willing to fight back. Williams didn't stop. He founded a newsletter, The Crusader, continuing his grandfather's tradition of publishing. He continued organizing. In 1961, when Freedom Riders came to Monroe, Williams' armed guards protected them. When white mobs attacked non-violent demonstrators, Williams' men formed defensive perimeters. Martin Luther King Jr. refused to visit Monroe specifically because Williams' armed guards were there. The philosophical divide between nonviolence and self-defense had become irreconcilable. On August 27, 1961, violence erupted in Monroe again. Freedom Riders had been demonstrating. White mobs attacked. In the chaos, a white couple from a nearby town, Bruce and Mabel Stegall, drove into Newtown by accident. Residents surrounded their car, thinking it was part of the mob. Williams personally intervened, brought the couple into his own home for protection, kept them safe for 2 hours until tensions cooled and they could leave unharmed. The Steggalls left safely. Then Monroe Police Chief Morney, the same man who'd led KKK motorcades, told
Remember
Williams,
that asshole?
"In 30 minutes, you'll be hanging in the courthouse square." The FBI issued a federal warrant for Williams' arrest on kidnapping charges. The couple he'd protected claimed he'd held them hostage.
See what I mean, bro? Always like look. I ain't gonna lie. Not even always. Just look at it. Just look after yourself, bro. You see what I mean when you try to help people? Like, bro, held them hostage. Come on, man. Come on, bro. Come on, bro.
Williams knew what was coming. Monroe's law enforcement, which had never arrested a single Klansman for terrorizing black neighborhoods, was about to lynch him legally. He and his wife Mabel fled, first to Canada, then to Cuba, then to China. He wouldn't return to the United States until 1969. From exile in Cuba, Williams broadcast Radio Free Dixie, a weekly program featuring jazz, blues, news, and commentary directed at black listeners in the American South. He wrote his book, with Guns, published in 19...
What a fucking title, by the way. I'm not gonna repeat that, but yeah.
62, which would become essential reading for a new generation of activists. Huey Newton and Bobby Seale would cite it as inspiration for the Black Panther Party. The idea that black people had the right to defend themselves with weapons.
Because we freaking do, bro. We really do. We have the right. Come on, bro. We're all people in the day. I think everybody in America. I'm speaking for Americas because I'm an American. I'm an American. I feel like everybody who lives in America deserves to protect themselves. You know, it's your fucking Second Amendment right? I think most Americans deserve a chance, but obviously we need stricter gun laws. Like I said before, that's a different type of for a different video.
That armed resistance was a legitimate response to armed oppression, spread through the Black Power movement of the late 60s. The kidnapping charges were finally dropped in 1975. Williams returned to Michigan, where he lived quietly until October 15, 1996, when he died of Hodgkin's lymphoma at age 71. Rosa Parks delivered his eulogy in Monroe. the town that had driven him into exile for daring to suggest black people deserved to swim in public pools. The night of October 5th, 1957, changed nothing and everything. Monroe remained segregated. The Klan remained powerful. Racism.
Right. So what he did, it's racism, all that, everything with that still remained. But his book and everything, like he's did inspire more people to make light of the situation and make it a little bit better. Is what I'm getting at. Is what he's about to say.
Remained the law, but something had shifted. Black men with military training had demonstrated that white supremacist violence wasn't cost-free.
Okay. I was wrong.
They'd shown that victims could become defenders, that terror could be met with resistance, that the oppressed didn't have to die quietly. History tried to forget that night. The civil rights narrative we teach emphasizes non-violence, peaceful protest, moral suasion. We celebrate the bus boycotts and sit-ins, the marches and speeches. We're less comfortable acknowledging that sometimes black people survived because they had guns and knew how to use them. That veterans who'd fought fascism overseas came home and fought it at home. That the Klan stopped terrorizing certain neighborhoods because they knew armed men waited in the darkness. Robert F. Williams never apologized for October 5th. In his book, he wrote, "It has always been an accepted right of Americans, as the history of our western states proves, that where the law is unable to enforce order, the citizens can and must act in self-defense. We asserted this right, and we did what the law officers refused to do. We stopped the terror. We stopped it permanently." The Monroe shootout poses an uncomfortable question for American history. How much of the progress we credit to moral appeals actually came from the threat of armed resistance? How many white supremacists backed down not because they'd seen the light, but because they'd seen what happened when black veterans shot back? How much of the civil rights movement's success depended on the unspoken pressure of men like Williams, proving that black communities could defend themselves if pushed too far? We'll never know for certain. What we do know is that after October 5th, 1957, the Klan never conducted another armed motorcade through Monroe's black neighborhoods. We know that the city council passed an anti-Klan ordinance the very next morning after refusing to act for months. We know that white Monroe's terrorism lost its impunity. And we know that black veterans, men who'd been told they weren't good enough to swim in public pools, proved they were more than good enough to stand their ground when armed mobs came calling. The story of that night, and the man who organized the resistance, deserves more than a footnote. It deserves to be told in full as a reminder that justice in America has often been extracted at gunpoint by people who refused to die quietly. Indeed. Robert F. Williams and his men didn't start the violence in Monroe. They just finished it.
Hi. Give this guy his followers. I really hope you're black because the amount of time you said that word, yeah. Make racists afraid again. I feel okay. I like this campaign. We need this campaign. We need this. Make racists afraid again. I actually do like that. I might start saying that. Make racists afraid again, please. That's funny. But yeah, W video. Shout out to Unseen Frontlines. W videos. Please show them love. Please show them love. Obviously, give them a like I did. I won't. So yeah, subscribe to them and everything. If you enjoy the video, please leave a like. I'm probably gonna react some more because I do miss reacting, and I have been streaming more on Twitch. So yeah, this is my Twitch right here. If you want to come by, say hello, then I would be happy if you did. So yeah, hope you guys have a good day, good night, whatever time it is for y'all. And I'll see you guys next time. Bye. Me go through the shades, prismatic, my mode is automatic.